There we go. All right. I think we're set to head out. Hello, folks. Long time no talk. I don't know when the last day I did an actual YouTube was. It was sometime last week. So I have been kind of busy with life the past 4 days, 5 days, right? I'll wait for people to start showing up before I talk too much. And for those of you that are coming to this later, you may want to just skip forward a hair. I don't know. Or you can just wait through while I talk to myself, which is what I usually do anyways. Oh, there's 2 people here. Say hi if you can. If not, that's okay. Brief introduction for those of you that are new. My name is Mike. I am known as BB Gossip on the Twitterverse. I have been tweeting about Big Brother since 2009. Been watching and listening and writing about Big Brother in one form or another since the original season back in 2000. And yeah, I was formerly doing Periscopes up until this year when they took Periscope away. And so now I'm trying out YouTube Live. And I also do almost dailies. Hello, Farm Wife 99. Good to see you. I also do podcasting. I do podcasts about Big Brother. It's called Mike's Big Brother Carcast. You can find that on any of your favorite podcasting apps, or it tweets out the link, or they are posted to Big Brother gossip.com has a link to it as well. So there's about 1 billion different ways to listen to me talk about Big Brother, unless you don't like my opinions, and then you may not want to listen at all. Hello, Nona. That's Norma. Was that Norma? Wait. That is Norma. Okay. As opposed to Nona. The text is small, so sometimes I don't catch it. So, what's going on? Yes, Frenchie is going home. Apparently he's been campaigning this afternoon. As I just said in my little audio update that I recorded right before I did this, seems like production finally got to him and said, hey, go try to save yourself. We need some material. Hello, Misty. And so he did. And he's out there trying to save himself, or was, and no one's giving him much chance. No one's giving him much hope. They're all giving him the, well, you know, if you can get a bunch of other people to agree to it, then maybe I would. But right now, if I vote you, I'll be in the minority. I would expect at least 1 or 2 hinky votes again this week. I could very easily see Tiffany do it. I think she felt like the results of that vote last week didn't cause her any damage, so why not do it again? So there is that. And yeah, I don't know. It's I won't care one way or the other. Hey there, honeybee. So I'm expecting an almost unanimous vote again this week. And then as far as stuff, I mean, I've talked about it. I talked about it this morning. I don't know if you guys listened to it. It would be hilarious if he gets so many hinky votes that he said, yeah, that's the thing. That would be a lot. It was what, 11-1? It was 11-2. So it was 13 votes last week. So it's going to be 12 votes this week. I mean, he'd have to get 6 votes to make it a tie. He's not getting 6 votes. That's a lot of people. You think, oh, maybe, but yeah, there's still way too many people. And not that many risk takers, I would think. So, no, at best, I would say at best he'll get 2. And I won't be surprised if he only gets 1. I think he'll get, I don't know if he's asked anybody to secure their vote, but I would guess at least one person will throw one out there in case he gets to come back. Yeah, I would think he'll get at least 1 just because we need to have at least 1 out there so that we can all claim it was us if he comes back in the house. And he won't be able to hold a grudge against anybody. If I were in a big enough majority of an alliance, I'd say, look, guys, let's throw at least one vote his way so that he can't blame any of us for not voting for him, and we can all claim that one vote. That seems like a smart play to do to me, and I don't think you have to worry about 6 people doing it. So that would be my suggestion. Throw a known hinky vote, and then when it comes up and says, look, it makes sense, why wouldn't you have at least one, and let's not get paranoid. And there we go, Kenneth. You got to the main thing that I probably wanted to talk about today, which I talked about all morning, and I talked about all last night. My new, potentially one of my favorites of all-time players is Tiffany. That woman is knocking it out of the park. Yes, that's right. Derek F. Yeah, Derek F. will probably do it. And that's what everybody will expect him to do it. So the question is, will a second person do it? And I still think a second person could very well do it. And as I said, I think it could be Tiffany. And Tiffany. Yeah, Tiffany is playing an awesome game. I'm telling you guys, if you don't have the live feeds, she is not going to get the edit she deserves on the TV show. She is going to get, she may get a really good edit, but it probably will not reflect her game. It'll be a edited version of her game. I mean, she can go down as one of the best players of all time for the TV viewers too, but I'm concerned that they'll give her such a glorious edit that you'll think she's invincible. You know, Derek kind of got a super mastermind edit. I mean, he was good, but calm it down. It's, you know, that's the problem. They have to, I said it this morning on my, whoa, this person's turning too. Man, traffic. Apparently the interstate traffic is nuts too. One of my kids is sending us a message. He's driving on it right now. TV has to shrink down the size of the show. You know, you talk about if you watch movies and stuff, or you follow movie production, you know, they take a book and you turn a book into a movie. Well, what was I can't remember the author. It doesn't matter, but there's a very famous spy thriller author. And back in the day, I used to get, I drove a lot around the state as I was working in computers as well, but I would go out to places. And I would get from the library books on tape. And I would listen to books on tape galore. This was in the 90s. So they were on tape. And I always tried to get the unabridged, it was Robert Ludlum, I think. Ludlum, I think was his name. I would always get the unabridged versions of books because that's hours and hours of listening. I mean, one book is like 12, 13, 14 hours or more. And so I would always get the unabridged version of any book if I could. And one time, after so many years, I had gone through, after a couple of years, I'd gone through almost every book in the library. And I got a book and I plunk it in and I'm like, wait a minute. I already listened to this book. But it was the abridged version of the book. So I got the abridged version of the same book that I had listened to, you know, like a year earlier and something. But I listened to it and they just took swaths out of it. They just took major characters out. They took major plot points out. And that's what they've got to do for the TV show. They got to pull out all kinds of stuff. So my concern is that Brittany is going to get the abridged version edit of her game. And while it may be, she may still come out as a really good player, you're not going to really appreciate everything that she's done. So I went a long ways to explain that, but hey, that's what I'm known for. Her game is really good. You can listen to me talk about it again this morning too. I typed about it last night. She is just she gets people to open up to her and tell her what they're thinking, and then lets them just kind of just spew out everything they're talking about, they're thinking about. She did it with Hannah last night. Hannah just really just went on and on and on about everything she was thinking, and then she would just kind of ask a few kind of questions to kind of feel her out about things. Well, what about Brittany? How do you feel about Brittany? And then blah, 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 blah. Well, what do you feel about Whitney? Are you okay with Whitney? Or I've heard these things about Whitney. What do you think? Just the way she would ask things, it didn't paint her in such a way that Hannah could go to somebody else and says, "Oh, Tiffany doesn't like Whitney." All she could say was, "Well, Tiffany and I talk game," but no, she didn't really say anything bad about anybody. I wish I could play like that, and I just don't think I would be able to. I wish I could learn to be like that. That's a good skill to have just in real life. Just in real life, the ability to listen to other people and take what they say and kind of feed it back to them. And man, I'm telling you, Tiffany's good at what she does. So, yeah. I don't know if I can praise her any more than that, but we're only 2 weeks in. Things could very easily go off the rails for her. 2 weeks into Derek's run, he wasn't doing much of anything, but I can remember it was very early on. They were having a meeting remember in Derek's season in Big Brother 16, there was co-head of households for the first few weeks. And so they had both bedrooms. What is now the have-not room actually opened up into the head of household bedroom. Pardon me. So they had two head of households sharing the same, sharing two rooms. And they all had chairs like circled in the second head of household bedroom. And they're all sitting in a big circle talking and plotting and scheming, this huge alliance. And Derek was in there, and you knew what Derek wanted to do. And right now I can't remember what it was. But he was letting other people lead the discussion, make the decisions. He would just offer opinions a little bit and kind of mold it and push it and just poke and prod and coddle and get things to go the way he kind of wanted to without actually coming out as the person doing all of that. And it was that I just remember it was that night that I went like, oh man, this guy's got a really good game. If this guy can stick around, he is kind of leading them down the trail. And that's how I feel about Tiffany. It is not the exact same game, but she's very good. All right. Is that enough now? Have I talked about Tiffany enough? You guys need to pop in and have your say. I am in the dead zone, so people could be losing the connection right about now. Yep, my numbers have dropped from 20 down to 14. That tends to happen as a connection as I get in this area. And it's the people that stick with it through all the way that make it to the end, or else you can come back. This lasts about 2 or 3 minutes, and so now I'm in a holding pattern again, which is what I usually say as I wait for either people to start chatting or everybody to drop. I haven't been told I've lost a connection yet. That happens sometimes. But also no one is chatting, so at the same time I'm gonna just hold on for a second here and see if anyone has anything to say. Yeah, this traffic is bad. Traffic here has increasingly gotten worse. You've had me 100%. Well, thank you, Jennifer. It could be that everybody does. This group is not as chatty as the Periscope group was. I'm trying to get more people here. Yes, several people have said Tiffany is my favorite. I think I saw you the first time, Farmer's Wife, and I think I saw Honeybee said it at least a couple of times too. I've seen those comments. Yeah, I think Tiffany's a lot of people's favorites. Okay, Derek, is that Puya? Or is that a fan of Puya? Hi, Emily. Because now that name was Derek Puyam something, and it called me Scruffles, which means it's a sequester reference. But the Puya makes me, I don't think it's Puya, but now I want to hear that, no, I'm just a fan. Not that it makes that big of a difference. I'll talk to Puya the same as I would to whoever it is, but now I'm curious. Especially when it's someone that has a sequester connection. because I did have a conversation. Well, I replied to something that Daniel from my first season of Sequester, Pope, just from the podcast. Okay, that's fine, Derek. Getting 100% of my BB from me, not even watching the TV show. Yes, I know Puya is his first name, but I didn't know what he went by on YouTube. So it could have been. Hi, Alan. You feel the same about Tiffany. Who would you say is playing the second best game? All right, so a couple of things here I want to touch on now that I've got two good topics to talk about. One is my reply to the conversation that I had from, oh man, names are escaping me. Oh my Lord. About playing in orgs and stuff. We'll forget about that for a second. We'll talk about my second best favorite player. Daniel. God, I couldn't think of Daniel's name. Daniel from Big Brother, from Sequester, my 530 mini. I know who Puya is. I do know who Puya is, Emily. That was my point. I have talked to Puya back when I was playing Sequester. I think I may have briefly done a thing on Twitch with him. So Puya does know who I am, and I definitely know who Puya is. And I didn't think Puya would pop in here, but there's always a slim chance. You never know. So yeah, Puya liked my voice on when I was doing a moderating, I think, a Sequester thing, or was it when I was doing the animal Sequester? I'll tell you that in a second too, Jessica. So let's talk about who I think is second best. So we're going to talk about Tiffany's the second best person, I think, right now. We'll talk about Tiffany's biggest threat, and we'll talk about Daniel's comment about playing in orgs. And thank you to those people who like me commenting. I don't know if I'm glad you're keeping up to date on what's going on. So, Tiffany's biggest threat. I really think, and I think I said it this morning at some point, that I think Tiffany sees her biggest threat as Brent. I think Brent is the next big threat that is not totally on board with Tiffany. He doesn't see Tiffany as a threat yet, though, I don't think, but I think he sees her as the potential leader of the other. Or Tiffany sees Christian as a potential threat. But Tiffany seems to want to keep Christian. She keeps saying, no, you can't say bad things about my Christian. So I'm not sure. But at this point, I'm going to say Brent. And so she knows Brent's going to possibly be going. So I really think she sees Brent as her biggest threat. Second best player. I don't know. There's a lot of good players in here. Just watched, somebody posted a clip of Sarah Beth talking to the cameras. And she's like, I really don't think I need to win head of household this week because I really feel safe going forward. And she's talking like a lot of players talk that I've seen play orgs and stuff. She has a fairly good grasp of the game and what's going on. And she does seem to be fairly safe, although that's the problem. She doesn't know everything we know. But I think she's okay for now. But it sounds like a lot of these people think they're all fairly safe. And it really does sound like Brent is in the biggest trouble if he doesn't win head of household. Even Whitney, who a lot of people are saying go after Brent and Whitney next, even Whitney is ready to go after Brent and ready to make herself vulnerable. Now, I don't think she realizes, she's like, we're going to throw it so that Brent gets nominated. But Whitney could very well be the other person nominated against Brent. Possibly Brittany as well. So, the second best player, I just don't know yet. I don't know. There's lots of people doing lots of things, and I'm not sure. I'm really not. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for that. I think Tiffany is heads and tails above everybody else. I want to root for Claire, and I think she has a good sense of the game, but I don't know if she's not at Tiffany's league, in my opinion. Even though she's done orgs and stuff, I just don't think she's quite there. Hannah has a good grasp of the game and what's going on, but Hannah is a bit aggressive, and I think Tiffany is letting her do that, and she tend to just blurb it all out to her. I think Alyssa's got a good sense of the game and is being very fair and equitable about the way the game is being played. But again, she's sharing all her stuff with Tiffany. So Tiffany's not sharing a lot. Tiffany's not sharing a lot with anybody. I have no idea who Tiffany's true number 2 ally is. I don't know who her ride or die is. I don't know if she has a ride or die. I really don't. Until I figure that out, that may be the number 2 player, maybe. But I don't know if Tiffany's picked somebody to be her true ride or die, even though she seems to be close to a few people. Do you guys think she has a ride or die? Because I don't think she does. I don't think she's figured out who it is yet. And I don't know at what point Derek figured out his ride or die during Big Brother 16. Not that I'm trying to compare them completely, but I think Tiffany's game is really, really good. Well, I hope you're right. I hope it is Claire, Brandon, because I'm a fan of Claire's. Obviously, I said that, so I would hope it's Claire, but I don't think Claire's shown enough yet for Tiffany to realize how well Claire knows the game, how well she knows these kind of games. So but it could be that if Tiffany figures it out, she might get twitchy about Claire and decide, you know what, she knows these too well, I got to get rid of her. I'm just not sure. Okay, so that's those 2 questions that somebody asked. The last question was what someone said, or what I started to talk about Daniel. And earlier today, or yesterday at some point, I tweeted out that I think if Frenchie, someone had liked, so way back when the casting was announced, Audrey from Big Brother 17 commented on my tweet about Frenchie saying that he applied to play in Sequester. Now, I have never asked Audrey, did he apply to play in the week-long Sequester that's live and in person, or did he apply to play in a mini, which is just like a 5 to 6 hour Sequester that you play online? I don't know which it was, and she's never said. I should just ask her. I'm sure she'd tell me. But whichever one it was, I think he really would have benefited if he'd gotten to play that, because I think it would have given him a bit more exposure to the whole mind mess that playing a game like this can be. And that's when Daniel, who I played with, who has won Sequester Minis and who is 10 times better game player than me, and actually a better social player than me. He's all around a better player of these types of games than I am. But who I had down on my final 4 when we first played, he responded that he thinks that it would have given him and I don't mean to, Daniel, if you ever see this, I don't mean to misquote you, but the gist of it was that Frenchie would have had higher expectations or different expectations of his other players or how they would have played the game. And I guess that's true, in that he might have walked in expecting other people to be playing a super, super strategic game. That's what I'm reading into what Daniel said. Because as I've said several times, especially back, before the game, people that play in those orgs, when I got exposed to those orgs, they are super hardcore, super, super, super strategic, and much less on the social side than they are on the strategic side. It's also a very fast lightning round kind of playing Big Brother. I mean, you have 10 minutes and then you're getting rid of somebody. And that is a different mindset. But still, you get that total in your head, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? I got to act. And just the sense of don't get too caught up in the moment. Slow down, think it out. I think it would have helped Frenchie's game if he had played some of those. And that's why I suggested if anybody ever is trying to really be on Big Brother, I don't think it would hurt at all to play a couple of games like that, because until you're immersed, if you've played, so the other thing was the online game, which I don't think is active right now. I think they've wrapped it up. The online game, Big Brother the Game, which I played 2 games of, and I gave away my last token. I could have played 3. It was 3 games for $5 in essence. I only played, or as many games as you kept winning. But I only won one season, and then I didn't. And I lost the next one, and I just went, no, I'm not doing it again, because the music still gives me, like, it honestly affects me emotionally. I get this feeling like, oh gosh. I remember how an emotional wreck I was the last time when I got voted out, when I knew I was getting voted out. When I basically was in Frenchie's place, I was like, crap, you guys are all getting rid of me, aren't you? And there's nothing I can do. That sucks. But I have to wait until you do it. And it was only like probably 2 hours or something, maybe, or 3 hours. Maybe it was a day. But it felt like crap. And I felt like crap. And I knew how Frenchie I knew a fraction of what Frenchie feels right now, or anybody that's gotten voted out, or anybody that's been blindsided when you think you have control of it and then suddenly it's gone. You go through those moments when you play in these orgs where it's like, oh crap, my game's over. The adrenaline was all rushing, I was so excited, and now it's all gone. So it gives you a level of sympathy. It also makes you think differently about the game and the way to play the game. So again, that's why I suggested it. And Tuggy, which I always think of her as Tuggy now, she said if anybody's interested, they can contact her, and she can hook her up with people that run these kind of things, and you can actually do it yourself and play it. Several people from the Big Brother fan community have played these games, and it's interesting. Anyways, that's what I have to say about that. So I'm about 5 minutes from home. Anybody have any questions, thoughts, whatever you want to talk about before I go? And please, people, all you got to do is chat. Just type in the chat and hit send. It's not hard. I will respond. Let me scroll up, because one person did say something and I want to see what it was. I think Claire has the best shot, but I don't think Tiff has a true number 2 yet. But that's what makes her game so good so far. Yes, exactly, Alan. She doesn't need a number 1. She doesn't need a number 2. She doesn't need a ride or die. She is in such good shape. No one is mentioning her. No one is saying her name. And I fear for the person who does say her name. Like when Cowboy started to say things and started thinking about Derek. Boom, you're gone. Yeah. It's going to be... I'm waiting for the alliances to form a little bit more, too, and see if she gets buried in several layers worth of alliances. That would be the next thing that I would think that would set her up to be in really good position, because then it's always your own alliance that's getting voted out. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, my gosh. Someone from my own alliance is going, but I'm in 4 other alliances below that one. That would be the next thing to see. Salon strategy in full effect for Tiffany. Oh, salon strategy, because she's doing the braids and hair, and yes, she does. She grooms people. You know, she's not cooking, she's doing the grooming. I mean, I don't think, technically she's the oldest person in the house, but I don't feel her perception is that I don't think anyone looks at her like she's a mother figure, which could be a kiss of death for her. I think she's doing just fine. I think she's seen as just kind of she's an older sister more than she is a mother figure. So whoever asked who they think her biggest competition is, or her enemy is, who do you think it is? Who do you think Tiffany really needs to worry about? As I said, Brent is the one that comes to mind. And I'm just waiting for an answer. So I will sit here. Oh, I'm tired, guys. Got to figure out how to get more than like 15 or 20 people here. I appreciate all of you, but I'm trying to figure out how to get the numbers up a little bit. Kyland, if he finds out about that vote. Yeah, I think they've all kind of forgotten about that. And Tiffany didn't tell anyone, right? I mean, she said that was shown in the show. She might need to cool it on make people laugh. I'm not sure what you mean by that. But what was the last comment? Oh, likability is a liability early. Yeah, but everybody kind of likes each other. If Kylan finds out about the vote. So, he's still talking about the vote. Okay, so Tiffany has said, I only told the only person who knows about the vote is Frenchie. Frenchie doesn't seem to have told anybody as far as I know. So, once he's out the door, of course, Tiffany will think, I don't know if Frenchie told anybody. So I don't think Frenchie will tell anybody about that vote. I think that vote will go out the door with Frenchie, unless Frenchie did tell someone and we don't know about it. I think that vote will go out the door with Frenchie, and that'll be that. I mean, Kylan can keep wondering about it, but yeah, I don't think Tiffany will ever tell anyone. I think that is a done deal. All right, guys, I am getting close to wrapping it up because I am almost home. Tell your friends and neighbors about this live YouTube. Retweet it if you can, or share it or something, just because I want to get more people. I really don't care if it's only 16 people. It is not the numbers I care about as much as the more people asking questions, the more I have to talk about, and I'm not just talking to myself and in circles. So that's all I care about. I'm not worried about the total numbers because I'm not going to make money on this. This is not a money maker for me. This is just a service I'm providing, and I get talking. Yes, Lady Di, I enjoy the rides too. I like talking to you guys. It's fun. I don't get to talk about this at work. Nobody I work with, I shouldn't say that. John does, but nobody else I work with is a live feed watcher. And John isn't even probably. John probably isn't even watching this season. But the only other coworker, well, there's a couple other coworkers, but they only watch the TV show. So I really can't talk with them about it. I kind of have to, I can spoil things in the past, but I won't spoil things in the future. So I got nothing to talk about there. So this is my outlet. We all know my wife doesn't like Big Brother, so this is my outlet. This is where I get to talk about stuff. So I enjoy the going back and forth. Yep. Anyways, that's that. I need to sign off. I can actually have a frog in my throat here. In Clubhouse. Yeah, I'm not doing Clubhouse. I keep getting Clubhouse invites, but I don't think Clubhouse, I don't know. I might try it sometime for the fun of it, but I don't know. Maybe I'll take on a wild hair. I'll try Clubhouse one drive home just to see how it goes. That's it. Now I'm done. I'm literally, almost home. So I will sign off. Thank you for listening. Any of you that are patrons, thank you for being a patron. I appreciate it. Any of you that are interested in becoming a patron, you are more than welcome to. You can go to patreon.com, patreon.com/BBGossip, BBGOSSIP. That's me. I need to upload my Vegas stories. I have now recorded 2 of them. I need to record them. I've got more to do. I don't know if I'll do more today or not, but they will go up on my non-Big Brother CarCast soon, and you can hear me talk about my exciting trips. Well, there's 2 cars here. I don't know who's here. I got kids coming over today. We're going out to dinner, so that's the other thing. All right, I'm signing off now. Thank you. Good to talk to you all. Have a wonderful evening. Be well, and we'll talk to you soon. See ya.